Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be talking about switch hitters. Switch hitters are incredibly important and can be invaluable to your team, and a lot of people like to overdo it a little bit. They like to build a lineup entirely of switch hitters. Now, this early in the year, this can be kind of tough to do because there aren't just a ton of great switch hitters. Later in the year, you know, whenever they come out with some overpowered switch hitting cards, then it can get a little bit easier, but for right now, it's a pretty difficult task, but I am here to undertake it for you. So for all of you cheesy motherfuckers out there who want to put together an all switch hitter lineup, I'm here to bring you the ideal switch hitter lineup this year. Okay, guys, we're not going to focus on catchers because, pitchers because, you know, who cares if you have a switch hitter as a pitcher? It's not really that big of a deal. But at catcher, we are going to go with the 95 overall Jorge Posada. It was very, very close between him and the 92 version of Jorge Posada. Offensively, I may even like the 92 version a little bit better, but this 95 version has slightly better defense, and he still holds water defensively, offensively. So this is a very effective card, and if you're putting together a switch hitting lineup, honestly, I don't see another way to go here unless you want to put the Victor Martinez here, but I think the Victor Martinez is better served being at first base in this type of lineup. And speaking of V-Mart, the 94 overall Victor Martinez, I'm going to put at first base. He's a fantastic hitter, not very good defensively, but we really don't care about that at first base. This card is amazing, guys. The one downside to this card is if there aren't runners on base, he does have an auto shift that you have to deal with, but he has a ton of power. He has, you know, a ton of ability to hit the ball the other way and sometimes even pull the ball and beat the shift just because he makes such good solid contact. His PCI is so big and he has a lot of pop to go along with it. So I think this guy is kind of a must. Another option here at first base is the 89, or is it 89 or 88 overall Kendrys Morales. He is a very good switch hitting first baseman too. I don't know if he has an auto shift on though. That would be interesting to see. At second base, I went ahead and put the 91 overall Francisco Lindor there just because I wanted to get some better defense up the middle infield because I think offensively you're going to be fine with an all switch hitting lineup. So I thought it was important to kind of address some defensive needs too. So I tried to be strong up the middle. And you'll see why I decided to put Francisco Lindor at second base and who I decided to put at shortstop. But anyways, this card is great. He has a good bit of pop for a middle infielder, 61-57. It's not great, but especially when he's playing up with inside edge, it's enough to hit the ball out, you know, on a fairly regular basis. He has very good contact, very good vision. Defensively, he's a monster, especially if you put him at second base. That arm strength will really play up for you. And he has 74 speed, good, not great speed. This is kind of a five-tool type of guy. His defense is phenomenal, but everything else is just, you know, well above average. So this is a guy I really like, and being a switch hitter is, you know, just helps that much more. At third base, I put the 94 overall Chase Headley card, another good defensive card. You may be asking, where is Chipper? We'll get to Chipper in just a little while and why I decided not to put him at third base. But this 94 Headley is very good. He crushes righties, 81-81. I guess he's well above average versus righties. And then against lefties, he has a little bit more pop, but his PCI is going to be a little smaller. He's not going to hit the ball, square up the ball quite as good as he does against righties. But if you can manage to square it up, it's going to go a long way with that 84 power. He also has some really good defense, okay speed for a third baseman. The switch hitting, you kind of, early in the year, you just kind of have to look for guys who are effective at certain things, and this guy kind of does everything pretty good. And you know, he is a very, very solid hitter. Not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but very, very good. Okay, and at shortstop, you know, this was kind of tough. there, other than Lindor and Ozzie, there are a couple other ones that are kind of fringy, but I never really considered them. It was basically between Ozzie and Francisco, and since Francisco had the secondary at second base and Ozzie doesn't have any, I decided to put Ozzie at shortstop, and you're just getting a defensive wizard. They called him the Wizard for a reason. He is amazing defensively. His arm strength might be a little bit concerning, but 83 is plenty to get the job done, and he is going to get to everything. And he has 87 speed with 81 stealing, which is very good. Offensively, he is kind of a weird switch hitter because he only hits one side really effectively. You know, against righties, he's going to be able to make plenty of solid contact for you, but he's not going to have much power against either side. That's just something that you just kind of have to accept with Ozzie. The reason you get this card offensively is for his contact skills and for his speed. And obviously for his defense, but that doesn't really go with the offensive thing that I was talking about. Against lefties, you may have to find this guy a platoon. We'll get to some bench options that you can maybe look towards whenever you have to make that decision. But 54-19 is definitely bad. The 99 vision helps it out a little bit. But with the speed that this guy has and the defense that you're getting, I really don't know if that's something that you would want to do. Maybe you just want to swallow that hole in your lineup and just kind of deal with it, because the rest of your team is going to be very, very solid offensively. Okay, and now in left field, this is where I decided to put the 95 Chipper Jones, not the 99. And the reason I decided to do this is because no switch hitting team obviously would be complete without the 99 overall Pepe Alazar, as much as everybody hates him. I would rather have this Chipper and Pepe than no Pepe and the 99 Chipper. That's just me, though. So I decided to put this guy in left field. I decided to put Chase Headley at third, and then obviously we'll see Pepe in center field in just a little bit. But I've talked about this card before. I did a player review on him. He's a monster. He's great. This is probably going to be like your 3-hole hitter, maybe. Very, very good. And the defense, you don't really have to worry about that, but you can just kind of hide him in left field, and he'll be fine for you. He's not going to be terrible or anything. You don't have to be scared of that defense. It may hurt you every now and then, but not a ton. So yeah, I decided to put this Chipper Jones out in left field, and I decided to say no to the 99 version. Okay, before we talk about Pepe, we're going to talk about right field, and this was by far the most difficult position to fill. It was really hard to fill this right field hole. There were a couple, I was basically down to this guy and Coco Crisp, and I decided to go with this guy just because he hits both sides effectively, and he has a good bit of pop versus both sides. And this card kind of seemed, I've used him a lot in Battle Royale, and he seems to play above what his ratings would suggest he would play as. Defensively, he's definitely not going to be good. He's going to be, a hole out there in right field. Like, you're going to have to figure out ways to compensate for that. But to have this bat in your lineup, I think, is worth it, especially when you look at your other options. But another option here would definitely be that Coco Crisp card. You could get a little bit better defense, even though he doesn't have the arm strength and some speed to go along with it. But the downside to that is he doesn't hit lefties well at all. Okay, and obviously in center field, we have the Hardware 2026 99 overall Pepe Alazar. Obviously everyone's favorite card in this game. Obviously a good idea to put him in the game, right? But not, there's just no way of getting around it. If you're putting together the best switch hitting team, this Pepe Alazar has to be on it, right? I mean, 99 everything. I mean, there's not really a lot to say. He's going to be amazing defensively. He's going to steal tons of bases. He's going to hit tons of tanks for you. He's going to be unreal. So yeah, it is what it is. He's in the game, and since he's in there, you just kind of have to say, okay, fuck it, I can deal with it. So yeah, 99 Pepe Alazar in center field. Okay, now moving on to the bench, we go back to the Cleveland Indians. For whatever reason, it seems like the Cleveland Indians always have like a lot of switch hitting options on their team, like flashbacks and live series players. I don't know if it's like an organizational philosophy to kind of go for switch hitters, but they always seem to have a ton of them. And starting out, we get Jose Ramirez, a great offensive card with a little bit of speed and a ton of positional versatility. He can play virtually anywhere in the infield. You could even put him at first base if you wanted to, and he would be fine. He can play left field too. That's the only position you probably want to stick him in the outfield. But it's always nice having a bench option that has that positional versatility. Okay, once again, sticking with the Indians, I could not leave this Coco Crisp card off of the list just because he's a great fielder, he has great speed, and he hits righties extremely well. 97, 62, 88 vision, that is very, very good. Against lefties, he's a little less inspiring, 55, 50. You know, that's probably a guy that you would want to platoon. It sounds weird saying that with a switch hitter, but he is. Kind of similar to like the Saltalamacchia or the Angel Pagan or something like that. But this card is very good, and he would provide you with a solid bat coming off the bench, or a pinch runner, or a defensive replacement. He could just find a lot of utility on your team. And no bench is complete, in my opinion, without a go-to pinch hitter, a guy that you can always count on to come in and get the job done for you. And, you know, bases loaded, you have your pitcher coming up with 2 outs, and you've got to take him out to try to get those runs across. This is the guy that you want to go to. The 88 overall Kendrys Morales. This is also a card that you could consider putting at first base ahead of the Victor Martinez. This card is just a maniac versus righties. 89, 97 against lefties. He's very solid too. 81, 90 or 81, 70. It's very, very solid. Definitely enough to get the job done for you. Okay, and kind of how the Morales was a pure bat, Jonathan Villar or VR or whatever his name is pretty much a pure speed guy. He's the guy that you want to call on whenever you need a good pinch runner or something like that. He has a ton of positional versatility too. It was basically down to him or Billy Hamilton for who I wanted in this you know, on this team on my bench to play that role. But because Villar has much better positional versatility, he can virtually play anywhere. And I like his bat a little bit better. It seems like 54, 51, he plays above that versus righties, and 69, 50, he plays above that against lefties. He also seems to play up a lot on inside edge, so that's also a benefit. So yeah, I just wanted to get one just pure speed guy on the bench, and this guy served that purpose along with a couple other purposes as well. Okay, and then finally we have Cesar Hernandez, another kind of utility guy that hits lefties pretty well, can play anywhere in the infield virtually, is a solid second baseman, shortstop, or third baseman, will give you decent defense there, has a little bit of speed, hits lefties very well, hits righties okay. You know, at this point I was kind of down to him or Ben Zobrist, and Zobrist I felt was would have been kind of a cliche pick for a team like this, so I decided to go with Cesar Hernandez. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Obviously, this is not a team that I would suggest using. This team was more just to illustrate who some of the best switch hitters were in this game, and if you need to find guys to plug in a certain hole, just to kind of balance your lineup out. If you're really lefty heavy right now, or you're really righty heavy, maybe you want to consider replacing one of those guys with a switch hitter, one of these switch hitters on this list, and it'll balance out your lineup and make you a more effective team manager and, you know, tangentially a better player. So that's the reason I did this. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the stream last night. Please, please, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, guys. I would really appreciate it if you have a friend that's into MLB The Show, is looking to get better, is looking to be entertained, if they like YouTube or anything like that. I would really, really freaking appreciate it if you guys would just let them know about it. Every single subscriber, every single view means the world to me. You guys are freaking awesome, and I cannot believe I'm over 1,000 subs. This channel is growing every day. I'm super excited about it, and yeah, guys, that is gonna do it. I will see you guys tomorrow, or maybe later today. Maybe I'll decide to stream whenever I'm watching the USM game or something like that. But anyways, guys, I will see y'all on the flip side. Peace.